All right. So when you're ready, we'll get started. Seated, you can cross your ankles, find something to sit on. Hug your sits bones back. And then really this beginning part is all about just taking a moment to get in here, get in your seat, and start to feel like what is happening internally. So you can close your eyes, you can drop your gaze. And let's take 3 breaths together. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Nice big breath in. Let it go. One more. Let it go. And so with your eyes closed, really turning your attention inward. You know, as moms, as caregivers, can almost feel like a foreign feeling. What is happening internally? As you direct and draw your attention inward, you can begin to notice the parts of you that are arriving a little easy. And parts of you that are showing up that are kind of all right. And the balance of that, the parts of you that are kind of nudging for your attention. It's those necks and shoulders and hips. And here in this space and on your mat, make a commitment, a promise, a contract with ourselves. And that contract is about understanding, acceptance, and love. And so as you enter into this practice with yourself, each thing that you notice, each thing that you're unsure of, each thing that feels a little off or that maybe feels like you're not doing right or not doing perfect. In this contract with yourself, there is no good or bad. There's no judgment. Just observations. Things brought into your awareness. Facts and feelings and information that you can use to inform the movements and the adaptations that you make for yourself in this moment. So let's stack our hands on our hearts. That feels good for you, and just take a moment to make that commitment, make that promise, make that contract with yourself. And together, we'll begin our practice with a letting go breath. And you are invited to be as loud and letting go as you'd like. We're going to make a big ha sound on the exhale. So let's take a big breath in together. Exhale, sigh it out. Ha. Great. And then let's bring hands onto knees and just start to move a little forward and backward. And from here, again, these movements that we begin with are yours. You get to be yours. So you can circle, you can move more side to side. You You're gonna find the parts of you that kind of calling a little bit of leaning in. And you start to bring that into your practice and bring that into your body. Maybe that looks like circles. Again, we're just beginning here, so it can be like tiny little circles in one direction and then in the other. And then over time, if it's feeling good or if it's beginning to feel interesting, you can make bigger circles. You can really shift forward and back. And then you can switch directions at any time. And so we're going to build on this movement, but like all things in this practice, if this is feeling interesting to you, if it's feeling a little delicious, a little good, then stick with it. And so from here, we can move into that forward, maybe stretching the heart forward, sending the elbows back. And then on your exhale, rounding the spine. So drawing the middle of your back behind you, lifting up the shoulders and tucking chin to chest. And you can really follow your breath here. Maybe drawing your heart forward, lifting your chin on your inhale. And exhale, rounding as you draw your spine back. But the reverse could also be true. You could feel more interested in exhaling as your heart comes forward, and more interested in inhaling as your spine rounds. So you just kind of observe and notice. This is the cat and cow. We're just doing it from the seat. As we're moving into the 6 movements of the spine. And again, here, if this is feeling delicious, delightful, a little interesting, if it's serving some greater sensation within you, you can stay with it. And we're so often taught that exercise, that movement has to be this punishing experience. It really doesn't. I mean, it can if you want it to be. But it can also be a little bit more fluid, a little more inviting. So now we'll, again, stay there if you'd like to stay there. And if you want, let's just move into the shoulders. Start by tracking the right shoulder back or the left shoulder back. And then just, again, make maybe small little circles. Maybe a couple in one direction and then a couple in the other. And you can switch at any time. Let's do this mobility, this movement. You can kind of pedal both shoulders and then switch directions. And sometimes, especially with shoulders, less can be more. If you'd like to add your wrists and kind of make some circles with your wrists, one direction and then the other. You can make a whole sweeping circle with your arm. Just kind of opening up the joints. If you hear pops and crackles, that's okay. And then switch to the other side. Again, start with the wrist. And open up the shoulder. A couple in each direction. And then let's sweep the hands up to the sky. Then twist to one side, doesn't matter which side. Sinking into your seat and pressing into the ground. You can lift up your head nice and tall. And then twist a little more. Give yourself one more breath here. Maybe twist a little bit more, turn your chin over your shoulder, and then come up through the center. Twist to the other side. And breathe here. One more breath in here. Let it out. And then come back to center. Sweep your hands up to the sky. You can bring your hands back down through heart center, hands and knees. One more movement of the spine, and then we'll move more into the body. You can bring your chin down to your chest. Let your head hang for a minute. And maybe just like tiny little circles. We have this tendency to like drop the head right onto the ear, onto the shoulder, but you want to keep it upright. Just like little circles in the neck. One direction and then the other. If you want, you can imagine the whole movement coming right from the tip of your nose. Right, like you're just tracing a quarter in the air. And then switch directions. And the last thing, and I promise that we will come back to the neck again later. Grab your hands, bring them to the back of your neck, right, like the base of your neck down at the tops of your shoulders. Each fingertip is going to be on framing the spine, and you're going to travel your fingers, lightly pressing into the back of your neck until all of a sudden they reach the base of your skull. And then you're going to keep your fingers right there and just start to like make tiny little circles. You can even move your head in that no direction, side to side. You can take your fingers and trace the back of your skull towards your ears. Just kind of like get in all the stuff there. There's one little thing that you give to yourself each and every day. It's like this tiny little neck massage. Release all the muscles in the back of your neck, the back of your head especially, and that space behind your ears. Let's take a breath in together. And let it out. Perfect. And again, if you'd like to stay here for the rest of class, you are welcome to. We'll keep on moving. If you have a blanket or if you're on a rug, it's fine. If you're on a hard surface and you have a blanket, you can bring it underneath your knees. We'll come into tabletop pose. And here, being mindful of your wrists and your fingers, spreading your fingers nice and wide, pressing palms into the ground. You want your belly press up into your spine. Again, as moms, we have this tendency to kind of spill belly. You want to be strong, straight. You want that whole core section to be pulling up into your spine. We're going to breathe here. And then from here in the strong tabletop, you can send one leg back behind you. And from here, we're balancing the table, but we're really coming into some core awareness. So pulling that belly back into the spine. If you have space and if you're curious and you want to add something to it, you can lift your leg off the earth. And as you do that, you're also pressing your foot back. It's a nice long leg. And if that's feeling good, maybe take a couple of circles in one direction, start to open up the hips, stirring that femur bone right around in the hip socket. And then move in the other direction. Maybe a bend and straightening of the knee. Again, only if it feels good. And then once you've got a little bit of opening your leg, you can stay here. You can reach your left hand forward. And let's breathe. Keep pulling that belly into spine. One more breath in. Exhale, bring your left hand down onto the earth. Keep that right leg lifted. If it's not, you can lift it off the earth. And then step right foot right to right hand. And come into a low lunge. If you have blocks, this is a great place to add them. If not, just bring your hands onto your knee. You're gonna breathe here. You can shift a little forward and back. I like to open up the quad, a couple of pulses. And we're gonna stay low. If it's already part of your practice and you wanna lift your arms up, you can. I think there's something to be said for just kind of building into stability. I'll take 2 breaths here. Finding your hands on the earth, maybe lifting up that back knee, coming into a lunge, nice and strong, pressing back the back heel. You want to wake up the legs here, really let them fire up and breathe into it. Let's take one more breath in. Let it go. And however many toe touches it takes, we're slowly bringing the left foot up to meet the right foot, top of your mat. You can bring your hands onto your knees, take a nice big breath in. Exhale, fold, let it go. You're welcome to that letting go breath whenever you'd like. Let's walk feet a little bit wider and we'll come up and do that one more time. So hands find the knees, nice long spine, big breath in. On your exhale, side out. Perfect. Slowly walking hands up your legs. This time we'll come all the way up to standing. You can bend your knees as you rise up. Sweep your hands up to the sky. Take a big breath in. Perfect. Exhale, hands down to heart center. Let's do that twice more. We're going to pull up our energy here. Inhale, reach your hands up. Exhale, hands meet down to heart center. One more. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's take a moment, take your feet nice and wide so you're stable. Soft bend in your knees, hands stack on your heart. This is where I like to bring in an intention, a word, a phrase, a feeling. What do you want to cultivate today? What do you want to shift? What would you like to move? When we're being nice and soft, you might be pulling in a feeling of peace, serenity. Maybe you want something a little bit more, something a little fiery, a little fun. Let it land in your heart. Let's take a breath in and let it out. Awesome. Inhale, hands reach up high. And exhale, fold to the earth all the way down. Hands find the earth. Nice generous bend in your knees. Inhale to your halfway lift. And then let's walk hands onto the earth. Walk toes all the way back, finding downward dog. Hands and feet press on the ground.
Let's take 3 breaths here. Just notice how you're pressing hands into the earth. Use all 10 fingertips, all 10 toes. Generous bend in your knees. Lift your hips up nice and high. Last breath in. On your exhale, come forward. Exhale, find a plank pose. Just 3 breaths here. Two more. Last breath in. Dropping knees, find that tabletop. You can shake out your wrists if you'd like to shake out your wrists. Finding that tabletop pose. And let's do a little bit of movement this time just to really find that belly and the spine. Inhale, find that cow pose. Belly drops down to the ground, breathe in. Exhale, round, empty, pull the middle of your spine up to the ceiling, head and tailbone drop to the earth. So this belly pressing up into your spine, you should feel this here. Let's do one more cow pose. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your head, breathe into your heart space. And then exhale, round and empty it out. Ha. Feel that belly and spine. And then as your spine starts to straighten, keep that belly pulling up into your spine. And if you'd like, extend your left toes nice and long, or your opposite foot. We'll come to the other side here. And again, keep that belly strong. And if you'd like, you can lift your leg off the earth. You know all the stages. You can always come back, right? You can always drop the toes back down. In our personal contract with self, right? You found your boundary, you find your edge, the edge that you'd like to be on, not the edge of like all that is possible. And sometimes that's like really expanding into like, what is the most you can do? You can do your leg circles here. Sometimes it's not. And sometimes this is all a mental game. What do I want to do today? What do I feel like doing today? So much freedom in that. Just in being able to ask that question. If you'd like, you can straighten the leg, reach the opposite arm forward, and just get really long. Keep that belly strong, and let's breathe. Feel free to fire up your breath, like make it nice and audible. Last breath in. Hand finds the earth. Last inhale, extending left leg nice and long. And then on your exhale, knee comes to elbow, and you step forward. Nice low lunge. And hands can be on the earth or in that low lunge. And press into the ground, stabilize here. Whew. And again, if you want, you can straighten up those arms. Sometimes on the second side, you're ready to like go a little bit further. Sometimes not. 2 more breaths. Yes. And when you're ready, you can bring your hands onto the earth. Lift up that back knee. If you'd like, find that lunge. And just press into the earth. Imagine the mat ripping in between, like right in the middle, pressing the front foot forward, the back foot back, and building this like tearing of the mat. Because you're pressing, right? You're engaging, using your leg muscles. And then allow them to expand and extend. Take a breath in. Let it out. And when you're ready, let's do one more inhale. On your exhale, again, taking those tiny little steps, finding your way to your forward fold. You can touch your toes, walk your hands up to your knees, take a halfway lift, and let it go. Slow rise all the way up to standing. Hands find heart center. Let's do that one more time. Inhale up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Awesome. If you have a blanket on your mat, you can move it to the side. From the top of your mat, you'll keep your right foot forward. Left foot steps like halfway back. Not a full lunge, but hips are square to the front edge of the mat. We're coming into warrior one. This is where we're going to start to work into the arms and the shoulders. So you want a shorter stance. You're going to be able to bend your knees. You have to do a lot of unlearning with this shape, because a lot of times it's taught in a way that's not really safe. So you want your hips square here. Feet pressing, nice and strong, rip that mat. And then you can reach your arms up to the sky. Your arms are pulling straight. Let's breathe. There's a couple of things that I tend to say over and over and over again, and especially for moms. This is for you, pull your belly into your spine. This is how we build back core strength. And from here, I really want you to just honor your body and honor where you are today. You'll have this recording, so you can always do something different. You can do this again and do something different. Try bringing your elbows out wide like goalposts. And press the backs of your hands back. So you're getting kind of this like delicious opening in your shoulders and your arms. And you can stay there. Or if you want, you bring hands together behind your back. Interlace your hands together and draw your knuckles down to the earth. And again, you have to keep that belly strong, right? Because we're building the structure here, the strong body. Maybe your heart lifts up and your shoulders squeeze together and your chin lifts up. And just for the next 3 breaths, you start to open up your heart. Last breath in. You can release the hands. If you had them bound, hands come onto your hips. Let's step forward. You can shake out your legs. We're going to come into a tree pose. Left foot on the earth. Right foot finds a spot on your leg. If you have a wall nearby, you can bring your hands to the wall. And then you find your version of this pose, which might be here, might be here, might be here. And then again, arms, maybe behind your head. I've been liking my hands behind my head lately because it forces me to push my head back and release all that tension in the back of the neck. You can also lift them up or do any other version that you'd like. Let's take 3 breaths here. So if your head is in your hands, you want to kind of press your head into your hands and just feel that like feedback from your body. One more breath in. Awesome. Let's release it out. You can shake your hands, take your feet nice and wide, roll your hips a couple of times in one direction, a couple of times in the other. And then come back to center. Let's do tree pose on the other side. The right foot is on the earth. Take your time. Soft bend in your knees. Really build out that structure, right? Which includes belly and spine. And then you find your shape. And you build it right from the earth. And really just find where you want to be, right? That could be hands at heart center, hands out to the sides. Really like this W shape lately too. In part again, because, and I'll show you from the side, because our computer hunching, like social media hunching, phone scrolling hunching, has the body going like this a lot. And so when we come out, lift up through the heart and send the shoulders back, we're providing counter movement, and I'll offer you more of these. You really want to feel this lift up, right? This opening up. And if you can, you maybe even just lift your gaze. Let's breathe. Last breath in. And then let it go. And you can shake out your hands again, shake out your hips, roll them out. And come up to the top of your mat. We'll find that warrior one now on the left side. Again, short stance. Hips are nice and square. Belly and the spine. Build that base. Hands can be at your heart. Hands can find that W or the goalposts. Or you can reach right up to the sky. And we breathe. You know, even if we didn't do any shapes, and for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 60 minutes, just brought conscious attention to the breath, something would shift. Something would change. And again, you can stay here, maybe having those goalpost arms. Or if you'd like, you can bring hands behind your back. Draw knuckles together. Send them down to the earth. And open up your heart. And breathe. One more breath in. And you can release. Shake out your hands, come to the front of your mat, shake out your legs. And we're going to do 2 more standing poses. Take your feet nice and wide. Or you can have them together, your choice. We're coming into chair pose, so I'll let you choose. I like my feet wide for this. And I'm going to give you my favorite move for that like low belly thing that we have as moms. And kind of rock a little forward and back so your knees are about hips width distance, maybe a little wider. You want to feel stable and supported here. Rock forward and back. And when you land in a comfortable position, you want to bring your knees bent. Get that, knees bent, feet wide. And then rock onto the balls of your feet. You will be shockingly surprised at how much this can work the core. And then again, belly and the spine. But this time we're really going to draw navel to heart, heart down to navel. Shorten that distance. Yeah.
And so you can stay here, just working the heart towards the belly and the belly towards the heart. And again, maybe come back again and do this later. But if you'd like, you're feeling stable and supported enough, you can take your elbows out nice and wide. And then we start to move. All right, you thought this was it. Inhale, get nice and long in your spine. Lift up the crown of your head. And it's a micro twist. It's not a big twist. We're twisting over to a side. Squeeze belly in the spine as you do. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, maybe you squeeze a little bit more to that side. Twist a little bit more. Do that again. Breathe in. Twist a little bit farther. Inhale brings you back to center. Exhale, twist over to the other side, just a little bit. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist a bit more. Your thighs might be feeling it right now. That's okay. Let's breathe in and twist a little bit more. Inhale brings you back to center. Draw belly towards spine once more. Breathe in. And then you can release. And shake out your legs. It's like a full body core work. But really, really good to just like bring the core back together and like better connected. It's also great for your pelvic floor. And then the second move we'll do, and it's kind of building off of this same one, we're going to come into eagle pose. And I want you to keep those same like principles in mind. In the eagle pose, standing leg is bent, and you cross one leg over the other. And you can give yourself a nice little assist by keeping your toes on the ground. Or if you're feeling really balanced, you can wrap the leg around. Again, belly in the spine. If you have a wall nearby, you can use it. You can bring your hands to your heart. And then if you'd like, if you're feeling really balanced and stable, left arm comes under the right. So I'm opposite you right now. And then if you really want to add to it, you can draw the hands together. And we breathe here. And remember that contract, right? Permission to be exactly where you are. One more breath in. And then unwind. Inhale, stretch your arms up nice and high. Exhale, hands to heart center. Same thing, other side. Building all those parts together. Leg crosses over, maybe toes touch the earth. Hands come to the heart, belly strong. If right arm is over, then, or if right leg is over, then right arm is under. And then if you'd like, bring the palms all the way together. And I love this pose for what it offers us in terms of compassion and acceptance in this beautiful draw of the self, relying on feeling supported by the self. You're wrapping into yourself. And in doing so, trusting, allowing, accepting, and being present. Let's take one more breath in. And then unwind. Inhale, sweep up to the sky. Exhale, fold to the earth, all the way down. Walk your feet nice and wide. Bend into your knees, come to a halfway lift, nice long spine, breathe in. And then exhale, start to fold to the earth.
And here I want you, as best you can, to have enough bend in your knees, enough support in your legs, so that you feel strong and stable, so that your upper body, from the middle of your spine, through your shoulders and your head and your neck, can drip and draw down into the ground. And here, if you can, just breathe. Maybe add some letting go breaths. Add some sighs, add some relief and release. And then by all means, if you're feeling the urge to move a bit more, you can move side to side in any shape, any arrangement. Just be mindful, right? 70%, 60% of what you can do. There's room for the body to adapt. And we'll take 3 more breaths. And then slowly finding your way back to a halfway lift, back to the front of your mat. Breathing in, finding that inhale, that fullness of breath. On your exhale, hands plant, toes can slowly walk back. Slowly walk back, finding that downward dog once more. Hands and feet plant, shoulders draw towards one another. Let's take 5 whole breaths here. If you're feeling a lot of pressure in your arms, bend your knees and take your feet wider. Feel length in the spine. And last breath in. On your exhale, draw yourself forward, finding plank. 3 breaths here. Last breath in. Exhale, drop knees. Slow lower all the way down to the earth. Forearms stack at the top of your mat. Take a breath in. And then draw your head down into your forearms. And just let your body rest. No matter how much or how little we do in our practice, this landing point, this moment of surrender and release, it's a barometer, an opportunity to check in. An opportunity to notice. And to become aware of the conditions and the shifts happening underneath the surface of your skin.
Let's take one more breath together. Let it go. When you're ready, you can bring forearms onto the earth, fingers pointing forward. We'll come into Sphinx pose. Hips are drawn down into the ground. And if you're feeling them kind of like resisting or gripping a bit, you can kind of shift side to side. Really release some tension. And then just noticing. Keep your palms active. Keep your heart drawing open. Keep your chin lifting up. Keep your shoulders drawing back. And so this next sequence, again, know that you can always come back and offer something different. If this is feeling good, please stay here. If you'd like to try a different shape, then you can bring your palms alongside your heart. Keep your toes pointed, keep your legs squeezing together. Inhale, press hips into the ground and lift heart forward. Draw elbows back and breathe. If you'd like to stay here, then stay here. If you'd like to open up your, the front of your body a little bit more, then you can press your palms. Start to straighten your arms, not all the way. Elbows are still bent. And you feel this lift up in the front of your body. Thighs stay on the earth. This is Cobra. Cobra pose. You can imagine that, right? This draw of the shoulders out, the fan of the belly, right? Fanning, opening up the front line. This lift in the chin. Let's take 3 more breaths. Last breath in. Slowly release. You can bend your knees, windshield wiper legs side to side. And from here, it's really your choice. If you have a yoga practice and there's a favorite shape that you like, you can bring that shape into this practice. I'm going to come into a half frog. One leg is straight, the other knee bends and comes up to hip height. You just land here. Land and release. And this is where you get to let it all go. You can rest and release. Allow your breath to deepen and soften. Allow yourself to settle into the earth. Let's take one more breath in. Let it go. Slowly drawing that leg back and long. Bringing the other knee out to the other side, up to hip height. Letting it all go. Or if it feels a little challenging or maybe sometimes we hold on to the things that we need to release. And so another way to imagine it, it's like taking any stress, any burdens that you're holding on to. Imagine that you can hold them in your hands as if they're like slips of paper. And then you offer those slips of paper. Offer them back to the earth. Offer them to the wind. Offer them to dissolve into water. Offer them to be transformed through fire. And offer each slip of paper, each thing that feels like a little too much to hold. And you let it go. Let's take a breath in and sigh it out. Drawing that leg back. And when you're ready, you can come onto your back. And before you get too comfortable, you can grab that pillow, the couch pillow, any kind of pillow, any kind of blanket that you have nearby. And you're going to take your pillow, and there's a lot of options here. So again, if you have a yoga practice and you have a favorite way that you like to relax, you can find that shape. You can do that thing. I like to have my knees laying over the bolster. And if you have a blanket and you're a little chilly, you can put it over your body or behind your head. You can rest this way. I'm going to give you one other option, just in case you have a pillow and maybe you're just feeling like you want to open up the heart space a little bit more. If you have a pillow that's big enough, you can lay it the long way and allow your back to rest on it while your legs and arms go out to the sides and nice and long. This can feel really nice too. So it's totally your choice. Coming down into our rest shape, and I'm going to guide you through a little visualization and meditation. And so you find the shape and the comfort and really just take the time, next few breaths or so, to find that comfortable space and feel free to modify and change it. Really like get into the comfort in your body. And so as you land, take a moment to check in with your head, with your neck, with your shoulders, with your spine. Maybe walk your shoulder blades a little closer together. Notice how that might lift up your heart. And maybe bring your hand to the small of your neck and kind of sweep it behind the back of your head so that your neck is a little bit longer. Maybe your chin tucks a bit. You feel this lengthening. Let's take a breath in and let it go. Starting at the crown of your head. Imagine light. Maybe that's light. It's almost like a glitter, right? Like it shines. And maybe that light is a color. Become aware of the color and the texture of that light. And that light is your light. It is unique, it is individual to you. And you can trust that. You can start to let the light in. Starting at the crown of your head, allowing it to relax your whole body, your ears, your eyes, your eyebrows, your cheeks, your jawline. Let it soften your lips and let your tongue get heavy. And from the back of your neck, from the back of your ears, traveling the length of your spine. Let the light soften. Let it spread from your spine to the center of your back, to your shoulders, to your arm bones, to your elbows and wrists, to your palms, fingertips, to the backs of your hands. From your mid back, soften your ribs, your heart space, your belly, your low back, your hips, your whole back, your whole heart space. Let the light soften your legs and your knees and your shins and your ankles and your feet. Let it soften your heels and arches and toes and toenails. And then let the light from the crown of your head to the length of your fingertips, all the way down to the edges of your toes. Let it soften your whole body, your whole being, relaxed and supported by light. And any feelings, any sensations, any lingering notes, feelings, little pieces of paper you're ready to release, you can offer them to the light. Together, we'll take a deep breath in and let it go. Ah. When you're ready, you're welcome to linger here as long as you'd like. And if you'd like, you can bend your knees and roll to a side. Take a moment to just be in that shape. On the floor, on your side, in between rest and living, in between practice and the rest of your night. And then maybe slowly rise up to a seat, ending as we began, keeping your eyes closed, keeping your gaze and attention inward. Taking a moment to stack your hands on your heart. Taking a moment to feel into the feelings. And to notice what has shifted, what has changed, what has moved for you. When we began this practice, we started with a contract. No judgment, compassion filled, love filled experience every single time. We land in these four corners in this rectangle on the earth, on the mat. And so, in the grace of that, and in the love of that, and the honor of being a person with a body and a brain and a full life, we'll end our practice together with a big letting go breath. Take a big inhale and sigh it out. Ah. If you'd like, you can bring your hands together, bringing your thumb knuckles up to third eye center and together, and seal this practice in honor and bowing to each and every one of you, to each other. Namaste. Namaste.